Hey guys, tonight we begin with a promise that lured hundreds of thousands of men across oceans and deserts, the promise of easy gold and instant wealth. The California Gold Rush, the greatest get-rich-quick scheme in American history. You've seen the romanticized version, bearded prospectors cheerfully panning in mountain streams, finding nuggets the size of walnuts, retiring rich after a few lucky weeks. Here's what actually happened. You spent every penny you had to travel 6 months through hell, arrived to find the good claims, already taken, stood knee-deep in freezing river water for 12 hours a day, destroyed your body for flecks of gold dust barely worth a meal, and died broke, sick, and broken, while the merchant who sold you that rusty pan retired wealthy. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you're genuinely enjoying what we're doing here. And drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is. It's always fascinating to see who's joining us from around the world. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're in New York, Philadelphia, or Boston in early 1849. News has just arrived from California. They've found gold, rivers full of it, nuggets lying on the ground, men becoming millionaires overnight. You've been working a factory job, or farming exhausted soil, or clerking in an office, and suddenly there's a chance, an actual chance, to become rich. All you have to do is get to California. So you sell everything. Your furniture, your tools, your family's jewelry. You say goodbye to your wife, your children, your parents, knowing you might never see them again. You scrape together $300, maybe $500 if you're lucky, and book passage on a ship. The cheapest option is the one around Cape Horn, the southern tip of South America, through some of the most dangerous waters on Earth. The voyage takes 6 months. 6 months crammed into a wooden ship with 200 other desperate men, all convinced they're about to be rich. Your berth is a shelf in the hold, maybe 2 feet wide, stacked 3 high. You sleep inches from the man above you, who has dysentery. Because everyone has dysentery. The food is salt pork and hardtack, that's it, for 6 months. The salt pork is basically inedible leather. The hardtack is flour and water baked into bricks full of weevils. You learn to tap them against the table first, shake out the bugs and eat them anyway. Fresh water is rationed. You get maybe a cup a day for drinking and none for washing. By month 2, everyone on board smells like a corpse marinated in seawater. And then there's the Horn, Cape Horn, where the Atlantic meets the Pacific in a chaos of waves that can reach 50 feet high. The ship pitches so violently you can't stand. Men are thrown from their bunks and break bones against the walls. The cold is so intense your wet clothes freeze to your skin. Ships sink. Ships disappear. You hear about them later if you're lucky enough to survive. If you chose the overland route instead, crossing the continent by wagon, you've chosen a different type of hell. That's 2,000 miles of plains, deserts and mountains, 20 miles a day in the blazing sun. You run out of water crossing the Great Basin. People die of thirst, heat stroke, cholera. You see their graves along the trail, sometimes the bodies because there wasn't time to bury them properly. You cross the Sierra Nevada gambling, you'll make it before the snow. Remember the Donner Party? That was just a few years ago. Everyone's thinking about it as the first snowflakes start falling. 6 months later, if you survive, you finally see California. You've lost weight, gained lice, and buried friends along the way. But you made it. The hard part's over, right? No, it's just beginning. You arrive at the diggings, the American River, Sutter's Creek, one of those camps with optimistic names. Your first thought isn't excitement, it's horror. The town is a sprawling, chaotic mess of canvas tents and crude wooden shacks sagging under their own weight. There are no streets, just mud. Thick, sucking mud that's part dirt, part human waste, part rotting garbage. When the wind picks up, you breathe dust, eat dust, taste dust for months. The smell is biblical. A thick, layered stench of unwashed bodies, thousands of men who haven't bathed in months, mixed with horse manure, rotting food, Human waste from open latrines, wood smoke, and something sweet and rotten you hope isn't a corpse, but probably is. There's no sewage system, no garbage collection. People just throw their trash wherever they're standing. The noise is constant. Hammering, shouting, arguments, the scrape of shovels, the splash of water. Nobody sleeps because the mining never stops. Men work around the clock, terrified someone else will find gold in their spot if they take a break. You look around at the other prospectors. They're filthy, gaunt, and wild-eyed. Their clothes are rags. Their hands are wrecked, blistered, bleeding, permanently stained black. Some are coughing that deep, wet cough that means they're dying. Welcome to your new neighbours. You need a place to sleep. A canvas tent costs $40. That's more than you'd pay for a month's rent back east. A blanket is $10. A pickaxe is $15. A pan is $5. Coffee is $2 a pound. Flour is $1 a pound. Everything is wildly, criminally expensive because supply is limited and demand is infinite. You buy what you can afford and you've just spent half your remaining money. You haven't even started looking for gold yet. You pitch your tent in the only available space, a patch of mud slightly uphill from the latrine. You crawl inside. The ground is cold, hard, and slightly damp. There's no floor, just you, the dirt, and the sounds of thousands of other men doing the same thing. But you can't rest because you need to stake a claim before someone else does. So you grab your tools and head to the river. The American River looks beautiful in the morning light. Clear water rushing over smooth stones, pine trees lining the banks, mountains in the distance. It looks like a postcard. It feels like stepping into a knife fight. The water is snowmelt, maybe 40 degrees Fahrenheit. You're about to stand in it for the next 12 hours. You scoop sediment from the riverbed into your pan. Gravel, sand, whatever you can reach. You add water. You swirl it in a careful circular motion, letting the lighter material wash over the edge, while the heavier material, hopefully gold, settles to the bottom. Repeat, over and over, for hours. Within 5 minutes, your feet go numb. The cold water seeps through your worn boots, and your toes lose all feeling. You try to ignore it. You swirl your pan. Nothing. You dump it and scoop again. Nothing. Again. Nothing. Your back starts hurting. You're bent over at an awkward angle, hunched forward, trying to see the bottom of your pan. Your spine protests. Your shoulders ache. Your hands, submerged in ice water, turn red, then white, then stop working properly. Around you, hundreds of other men are doing the same thing. Everyone's spread out along the river, maybe 10 feet apart, each person guarding their little patch of water like it's sacred ground. Nobody talks, nobody helps. Every man is isolated in his own private struggle. 3 hours in, you find your first fleck of gold. It's smaller than a grain of rice, barely visible. You stare at it, shining faintly in the black sand, and feel a surge of excitement. Gold! You found gold! No, you're not going to be rich. That fleck is worth maybe 5 cents. You need to find hundreds of those, just to pay for today's food. 6 hours in, you can't feel your legs anymore. You're shivering uncontrollably, even though the sun is beating down on your head and shoulders. You're simultaneously freezing and sunburned. Your hands are raw. The constant immersion in cold water mixed with abrasive sand has shredded your skin. Blood seeps from cracks around your knuckles. You found maybe a dozen small flecks. Total value, maybe 50 cents. You've destroyed your body for 50 cents, but you can't stop. Because the man next to you is still working. And if you stop, he might drift closer to your spot. So you keep going. You scoop. You swirl. You dump. Again. 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 When the sun finally sets, you stumble out of the water. Your legs don't work right. Your boots squish with every step. Full of water that's been sloshing around your feet all day. You can't feel your toes. You make it back to your tent. You count your gold. Maybe $1.50 worth. A decent meal costs $2. You're going backward. Tomorrow, you'll do it all again. until either you strike it rich or your body gives out, or you finally accept the truth. That pickaxe you bought for $15? It's garbage. The handle is cheap pine, and it cracks after 3 days of hard work. The metal head chips and dulls almost immediately against the rocks. You go back to the merchant. A replacement costs $18 now. Prices have gone up. This one lasts a week before the handle splits completely. Your pan isn't much better. It's thin tin with a crack forming. When you swirl it, water leaks out and you lose sediment and potentially gold through the gap. Your boots disintegrate within a month. The constant immersion in water combined with walking on sharp rocks shreds them. The soles separate, the leather splits. You need a new pair. Boots cost $25. That's almost 2 weeks of your average gold. Fines, you can't afford them. So you keep wearing the ruins, and your feet bleed, and you get infections. Every tool you own is either breaking, broken, or about to break. And replacing them eats up any gold you find. You're not mining for profit. You're mining to replace your equipment so you can keep mining. It's a circular hell, and you're trapped in it. Remember how flour was $1 a pound and coffee was $2? 3 months later, flour is $2 a pound. Coffee is $4. Bacon is $3 a pound, and it's rancid. There's no refrigeration, no way to keep food fresh. You buy bacon that's already green around the edges and hope cooking it kills whatever's growing on it. Your diet consists of 3 things: beans, hardtack, and coffee. That's what you can afford. The beans are small, hard, and take forever to cook. You soak them overnight in river water, build a fire, and boil them for hours. They never get truly soft. They're always slightly crunchy because you don't have time or fuel to cook them properly. They give you gas that could power a small locomotive, but they're filling. The hardtack is flour and water baked into indestructible bricks. You can break teeth on them. Some men do. You learn to soak them in your coffee first. They have no taste, no nutrition beyond basic calories. They're fuel to keep your body moving so you can stand in the freezing river for another day. The coffee is bitter, gritty, and possibly contaminated, but it's hot and it wakes you up, and it's the only pleasure in your day. Sometimes, if you've had a good week, you splurge on salt pork. It's so heavily salted you can barely taste the meat. It's shoe leather, soaked in salt brine, but it's protein. Fresh food is fantasy. Vegetables? You haven't seen one in months. Apples cost $1 each. Eggs are $1 each. A single egg costs as much as a pound of flour. You're getting scurvy. Your gums bleed when you eat. Your teeth feel loose. You bruise easily. Your old wounds don't heal properly. Half the camp has it, but there's nothing you can do because you can't afford the foods that would fix it. You're trapped in a cycle. You're malnourished, so you're weak, so you can't mine effectively. So you don't find gold, so you can't afford better food. And you're one of the lucky ones. Some men run out of money entirely. They eat boiled grass and shoe leather. Some starve. You find their bodies in tents on the outskirts. Nobody talks about it. You're thirsty. You're always thirsty. The work is brutal. The sun is relentless. And you're sweating constantly, despite standing in cold water all day. You need to drink. So you drink from the river. Bad idea. Terrible idea. But you don't have a choice. The American river is contaminated. Thousands of men use these rivers as their toilet, their laundry, their garbage dump, and their mining site. Everything goes in the water. Human waste, animal waste, rotting food, mercury from gold extraction, dead animals, probably a few dead humans. It all flows downstream, mixing together into a toxic soup. You try to take water from upstream, but upstream is someone else's downstream. There's no clean water anywhere, so you boil it. You boil everything you drink, hoping that kills whatever's living in it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Dysentery sweeps through the camps regularly. It starts with stomach cramps, then diarrhea, constant, urgent, impossible to control. You lose fluids faster than you can replace them. You get weak, dehydrated, delirious. Men die from dysentery all the time. It's common enough that people barely react when someone's tent goes quiet. and then the smell starts. Cholera is worse. Cholera moves through camps like wildfire. You're fine one day. The next day, you're vomiting and emptying your bowels simultaneously, your body purging fluids until you're so dehydrated you look like a skeleton. Your skin turns blue-grey. Your eyes sink into your skull. You die within 24 hours. Cholera outbreaks kill dozens, sometimes hundreds, before burning themselves out. Typhoid, hepatitis, giardia, every waterborne disease lives in these rivers. You drink, you get sick, you recover, or you die, and either way you keep drinking because there's no alternative. The worst part? You're mining in the same water you're drinking. Your pan scoops up sediment that includes human waste. Your hands, raw and bleeding, are submerged in contaminated water all day. Small cuts become major problems. You watch men lose fingers to infections that started with a tiny scrape. Water is supposed to be life. Here it's a slow-motion assassin, and you have to drink it anyway. You've been working your spot on the river for 2 weeks. It's not great, but you're finding enough gold flecks to eat. Then one morning, you arrive to find someone else standing in your spot. He's a big guy, dirty, unshaven, holding a pickaxe like he knows how to use it. "That's my claim," you say. "Don't see your name on it," he replies. And that's the problem. There's no official claim system, no deed, no paperwork, no authority to appeal to. Claims are held by presence and force. If you're not physically standing in your spot, it's up for grabs. If someone bigger and meaner wants it, they take it. Your only options are to fight him, which you'll lose, or walk away and start over somewhere else. You walk away. Claim jumping is constant. Men fight over productive spots like dogs over a bone. Arguments escalate to fistfights. Fistfights escalate to knife fights. Knife fights escalate to gunfights. Bodies pile up. The violence is so common it barely registers anymore. There's no law here, no sheriff, no judge, no court system. Mining camps occasionally form miners' courts, basically mob justice where whoever's loudest wins. These courts are arbitrary, inconsistent, and often brutal. You could be accused of claim jumping, even if you're innocent, and find yourself on the wrong end of a vigilante noose within hours. The real violence isn't even about claims, it's about everything. Debts, insults, women, accusations of cheating at cards. Someone looked at someone wrong. Anything can spark a fight, and fights here don't end with black eyes. They end with bodies. You learn to keep your head down. Don't make eye contact, don't argue. Walk softly, speak quietly, and pray nobody decides you're worth killing today. You've been sleeping in your tent for a month now. Sleeping is generous. Lying in damp misery is more accurate. The tent is maybe 6 feet long and 4 feet wide. When you lie down, your head touches one end and your feet touch the other. There's no room to sit up properly. The floor is dirt, just dirt. No boards, no bedding except the single thin blanket. You lie directly on the ground, feeling every rock, every root. The canvas is cheap. It's already developing holes. When it rains, water seeps through. Not enough to fill the tent, just enough to make everything damp. Your blanket is damp. Your clothes are damp. You wake up wet and cold, your body aching, your lungs congested from breathing damp air all night. There's no insulation. When it's cold, the tent is freezing. You sleep in all your clothes, wrapped in your damp blanket, shivering through the night. When it's hot, the tent is an oven. The sun beats down, and the interior becomes stifling, airless. You can't breathe. You sweat through your clothes, gasping, waiting for the sun to set. Privacy doesn't exist. The tents are packed together, maybe 3 feet apart. You hear everything. Every cough, every snore, every private moment. Arguments, men crying, men dying. You lie there, listening to your neighbour's death rattle for hours, until he finally goes quiet and someone drags the body out in the morning. The tent doesn't keep anything out. Mosquitoes swarm you at night. You wake up covered in bites, scratching until you bleed. Rats chew through canvas easily. You wake up to a rat crawling across your face. Lice are a given. Everyone has lice. You feel them crawling through your hair, biting your scalp. Some men shave their heads. It doesn't help much. You live with them. Your possessions consist of your tools, your clothes, one set, worn constantly, your blanket, and maybe a tin cup. That's it. If someone steals your tools while you're sleeping, you're ruined, so you sleep with them. The pickaxe next to you, the pan under your bedroll, always within reach. This is home. A sagging canvas rectangle on muddy ground, full of bugs, surrounded by strangers, offering no protection from anything. You left your real home 6 months ago. You're starting to forget what it looked like. You've had a bad week. You found almost nothing. You're discouraged, exhausted, and broke. So you do what everyone else does. You go to the saloon. The saloon is a wooden shack with a canvas roof, packed with men drinking away their sorrows. The air is thick with tobacco smoke, body odor, and desperation. The bartender serves whiskey for $1 a glass. You buy one, then another, then another. Suddenly you've spent $3, which was supposed to be food money, for 3 days. But you feel better. The whiskey numbs the pain, the crushing knowledge that you're failing. For a few hours you can pretend everything's fine. You talk to other prospectors, swap stories about the gold you're going to find. Everyone's going to be rich, any day now. You believe it when you're drunk. Then someone suggests a card game. Poker, faro, monte, there's always a game running. You sit down with $2 in gold dust, telling yourself you'll be careful. You don't stop. You win the first hand and feel invincible. You lose the second and third and convince yourself you're due for a win. The dealer might be cheating, probably is cheating, but you can't prove it, and accusing him gets you beaten or shot. You keep playing. You lose everything. You stumble back to your tent at midnight, drunk and broke, and realize you just gambled away a week's worth of work. Tomorrow, you'll do it again. Because what else is there? Gambling is everywhere. It's the only entertainment. The gambling is rigged. The drinks are watered down. Everyone knows it. Nobody cares. It's the only escape from the grinding reality of failure. Alcohol becomes a crutch. You drink to forget that you're destroying your body for nothing. You drink to sleep because you can't sleep sober anymore. You drink to be social because the only human interaction available happens in saloons. Some men become full-blown alcoholics. You see them wandering the camp, too drunk to work, too broke to eat. They die quietly, and nobody notices until the smell gets bad. The trap is perfect. You're miserable, so you seek escape. The escape costs money. The money comes from mining. But mining makes you miserable, so you need more escape. You're caught in a loop, spending everything you earn on temporary relief. And the merchants and saloon owners get rich while you get poorer. You've upgraded. You're no longer just panning. You've partnered with 2 other men and built a crude sluice box. You're processing more sediment, finding more gold, maybe a few dollars a day instead of pennies. Then someone tells you about quicksilver, mercury. It's a miracle for gold recovery. Mercury bonds with gold, forming an amalgam. You add mercury to your sluice, and it captures even the tiniest gold particles. Later, you heat the amalgam, the mercury vaporizes, and you're left with pure gold. It's ingenious, it's effective, it's also killing you slowly. You buy mercury for $2 a flask. Immediately, your gold recovery improves. This is your breakthrough. But mercury is toxic, extremely toxic, and nobody knows this yet. You handle mercury with your bare hands. It's slippery, fascinating, almost alive. You heat the amalgam over an open fire, standing directly over it, breathing in the mercury vapor as it boils off. That vapor goes straight into your lungs, enters your bloodstream, crosses into your brain. The symptoms start subtly. Your hands shake. You blame it on the cold water, the hard work. Then your memory starts failing. You forget things. What day is it? Where did you put your tools? Your mood swings wildly, irritable one moment, depressed the next. Your teeth start falling out. Your gums are red, swollen, bleeding. You're being poisoned and you don't know it. Mercury poisoning mimics other illnesses. People think you're just sick, tired, going crazy. The mercury affects your brain, causing confusion, paranoia, hallucinations. Some men become violent, some become catatonic, some just wander off into the wilderness and never come back. But right now, all you know is that your hands shake, your head hurts, and you're finding gold. So you keep using mercury, you keep poisoning yourself. Because stopping means going back to panning, and panning means you'll never make enough. It's a slow death, but everything here is a slow death. You thought summer was hard, but winter is a special kind of hell. The camps don't shut down. You can't afford to stop working, so you keep mining even as the temperature drops, even as snow starts falling, even as the river begins to freeze. You stand in ice-cold water that's now partially frozen, breaking through ice sheets with your pickaxe. Your clothes are inadequate. You have one thin wool coat full of holes. You layer everything you own, and you're still freezing. Your hands, constantly wet, develop chilblains, painful swelling from repeated exposure to cold. Your fingers turn white, then red, then purple. They crack and bleed. You lose sensation in your fingertips. Some men lose fingers entirely. The tent is unbearable. You try to heat it with a small fire. The fire produces smoke that fills the tent and chokes you. You extinguish it and lie there, shivering violently, unable to sleep because the cold is too intense. Your body burns through calories trying to keep warm. You're hungry all the time, but food is even more expensive because supply shipments can't get through. Snow piles up. The camp turns into a frozen wasteland. Men slip on ice and break bones. Medical care is non-existent, so a broken leg often means death. You can't work, you can't earn money, you can't buy food, and you slowly starve. Some camps are snowed in completely, cut off for months. If you didn't stockpile enough food, you're in serious trouble. Disease spreads faster in winter. Everyone's packed together, seeking warmth. One man gets sick, and suddenly the entire camp is coughing up blood. Pneumonia kills dozens. Frostbite kills more. Exposure kills the most. Men go to sleep and don't wake up. Their bodies are found frozen solid in their tents. You survive the winter. Barely. You lost weight you couldn't afford to lose. You developed a chronic cough that won't go away. Your hands are permanently damaged, but you survived. Spring is coming. Maybe your luck will change. It won't, but you don't know that yet. It's been a year, a full year since you arrived in California, with dreams of fortune. You've worked every single day. You've destroyed your body. You've suffered through disease, violence, hunger, and isolation. And you found gold, not a lot, maybe $500 worth over the entire year. That sounds like money, right? Except it's not. Because everything costs more here. That $500 bought you food for a year, barely, replacement tools multiple times, your tent and blanket, and whiskey to forget how miserable you are. You've spent everything you found. You have nothing saved. You're not rich. You're exactly as broke as when you arrived, except now your body is ruined. The math doesn't work. It never worked. The average prospector finds maybe $1 to $3 of gold per day. Living expenses are $2 to $3 per day. At best, you break even. More often, you fall behind. The only way to make real money is to hit a major strike. But thousands of men are looking for the same thing, and there are only so many rich strikes to find. The odds are astronomical. You look around at the other prospectors. They're all in the same situation. Broke, broken, desperate, and lying to themselves. Everyone talks about the big strike they're going to make, but you can count on one hand the number of men who've actually struck it rich, and you know dozens who've died trying. The people getting rich aren't the miners. They're the merchants, the saloon owners, the supply sellers. They're selling necessities at inflated prices to desperate men, and they're making fortunes. The guy who sold you that $15 pickaxe probably paid $2 for it back east. Meanwhile, you're still standing in the river, freezing, finding pennies. You think about going home, but you can't. You don't have money for passage. And how can you go home empty-handed? How can you face your family after promising you'd return rich? So you stay. You keep mining. Not because you believe in it anymore, but because you don't have another option. You're trapped by poverty, by shame, by everything you've already sacrificed. This is your life now. This is what you traded everything for. Want to know who made money during the gold rush? Levi Strauss, who sold sturdy pants to miners. Sam Brannan, who bought up mining supplies before the rush and sold them at massive markups. The merchants, the bankers, the land speculators. During a gold rush, sell pickaxes. You hear stories about the lucky few who found major strikes. The £195 nugget. The vein worth $100,000. These stories circulate through camp, getting bigger with each retelling, keeping hope alive. But they're statistical outliers, lottery winners. For every man who struck it rich, 10,000 others broke their backs for nothing. The real wealth went to the people providing services miners needed. A woman running a boarding house could clear $1,000 a month, more than most miners made in a year. A merchant selling basic supplies could retire wealthy after 2 years. You're not in any of those professions. You're a miner, and miners die poor. So, how's your time as a gold rush prospector been? You've crossed a continent or sailed around a cape, survived 6 months of hell just to arrive. You've stood in freezing water for 12 hours a day, every day, destroying your hands, your back, your feet. You've eaten nothing but beans and hardtack until your gums bled. You've drunk contaminated water and caught diseases that should have killed you. You've fought off claim jumpers and watched men die over scraps of riverbank. You've slept in a canvas tent through winter, shivering until you thought your teeth would crack. You've poisoned yourself with mercury, gambled away your earnings, and slowly realized that the dream was a lie. Still romanticizing the gold rush? Still thinking about striking it rich, about adventure and fortune on the frontier? The myth is powerful. We've built an entire American narrative around it. The self-made man, the prospector who came west with nothing and left with everything. But the reality was crushing. Most prospectors found nothing. Most spent more money than they made. Most destroyed their health and wasted years chasing a fantasy that never materialized. The gold rush wasn't about individual fortune. It was about mass delusion on a continental scale. Hundreds of thousands of men convinced themselves they'd be the lucky ones, the special ones, the ones who'd beat the odds. And they were wrong. The only certainty was suffering. The only guarantee was that your body would give out before your hope did. But here's the thing that still amazes me. People kept coming, even after the reports filtered back east about the failures, the deaths, the misery. New waves of prospectors kept arriving, because humans are wired for hope. We see the one lottery winner and ignore the million losers. We believe, despite all evidence, that we'll be different. And through all that suffering, people still built communities, still formed friendships, still fell in love, wrote letters home, sang songs around campfires. They found joy in tiny moments, a successful day of mining, a good meal, a friendly conversation. They were resilient in ways that defy understanding. They endured hell and somehow remained human. So tonight, when you turn on your tap and drink clean water without boiling it first, when you eat food that isn't beans and hardtack, when you sleep in a bed with a roof over your head, take a moment to appreciate it. Your ancestors, literal or spiritual, stood in freezing rivers, breathed mercury vapor, and broke their backs in the mud. They gambled everything on a dream that rarely came true. They suffered so you wouldn't have to, and somewhere in the mountains of California, buried under shopping malls and highways, are the forgotten camps where desperate men once searched for gold. Their stories remain, weathered but unbroken, a testament to both human hope and human folly.